Okay, I think that one of the things is, as I analyzed this, I realized that I was raised, or maybe most of us are raised to believe that if you are for life, then that means that you are a good person because you are choosing life over death. However, I think that we have not been taught to analyze situations and make the best choice. I am not against death. I realize that. I am not against death. I am not against life. I am not pro-death all the time, and I am not pro-life all the time. What I am for is making the choices that cause the least amount of harm and or the most good for everyone involved to the best of my ability. That doesn't mean that I'm never going to make mistakes or that we're never going to make mistakes. It just means that we're going to try our best to make the right choices given the circumstances. And it's not always going to be being for life. Sometimes death is going to be the best choice. And I think that in this situation, sometimes death is the best choice for that fetus. I've heard people talk about how they want women to be prosecuted and treated as if they had committed murder for having an abortion. And I was wondering, I would like to ask this woman that I heard on YouTube talk about this, if your daughter had 3 children already and she got pregnant another time and she knew, I am not able to take care of this child, therefore she would choose to have an abortion, and you found out, does that mean that you would take your own daughter to court and ask the judge to put her in prison because she, in your eyes, murdered somebody, and you're going to leave your 3 or 4 grandchildren without a mother and have their mother put in prison, your daughter, because you believe that that is a wrong act? I ask you that question. Also, let's say if I had a daughter and I thought, well, I am against abortion, there's under no circumstances, blah, blah, blah. I think it's a crime, whatever, murder, whatever you want to call it. And if my daughter ended up pregnant, and my daughter ended up trying to cause herself to abort this fetus, and she ended up dying or committing suicide for that reason, would I have preferred her to have a safe abortion somewhere, or would I be okay with her death and the death of that fetus just because of my beliefs? Would I be okay with that? Would I be able to live with myself and have a clear conscience and think that I did the right thing to cause this girl to go through that horrible, horrible experience on her own just because of my belief system? I think that if I were a mother and I had a daughter that ended up getting pregnant, I would rather live in a country or in a place where I know she can go and have a safe abortion. And I would try probably my best to, make it possible for doctors to put the fetus under some type of anesthesia so that they wouldn't feel pain, because I don't want to cause unnecessary pain. That is not my intention. I don't feel like, oh, it's a good thing and everybody should get it and it's nothing. No. If that is possible, I would rather have that procedure done as safely and as least painful for everybody as possible, and to be there for my daughter and help her through this situation and try to make whatever it is that I can to try to educate and to prevent this from happening again. And talking about traumatic experiences, I think that I've heard, especially Christian people, talk about how it's such a traumatic experience for women and how they go through so much trauma and depression and anxiety and all these things, and how it's a horrible, horrible experience. And yes, it is a horrible experience. It is a traumatic, or it can be a traumatic experience. Not for everybody, for some of them. But I think that it also has to do with the fact that most of these women came from churches that just were so against abortion, and that you have it in your head, I am a horrible person. I am going to burn in hell. I am a criminal, a murderer. I deserve punishment. To me, it's not so much about getting over the fact that, okay, wow, I made this choice, and it was a very, very hard choice, but you know that you did the right thing, even though it was something harmful to another being. But the biggest weight to me is the emotional baggage that comes with it. So to me, it's like, if you really don't want these women to be suffering and to have all this trauma afterwards, then stop putting so much guilt on them. Stop acting like this is a huge crime and it's a horrible, horrible thing, and that nobody should do it, and that if anybody that does do it, they should be imprisoned or killed or whatever. That to me is what's most harmful, the emotional stuff, not so much the physical stuff, even though yes, it is painful, or it can be painful and traumatic. But to me, it also has a lot to do with the religion just putting such a huge guilt trip on women for doing this. The other thing is that as a Catholic, I know that you're taught, oh, you need to have all the children that God gives you, and it's you can't use contraceptives, and condoms are a sin, and you can't be on the pill, and blah, 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 and all these things. My question is, so you would rather have women be full of children, and these children be malnourished, not uneducated, and have these people living in poverty and ignorance and perhaps crime and all these things? You would rather have that than have somebody put on a freaking condom. And also, I would ask these women that say, well, the priest told me that it was bad to have, because I know, I was a Catholic, I know how it is. Well, I'm not supposed to have, use condoms, and they use it without telling anybody, and they don't want anybody to know that they're on the pill and that their husbands use condoms and blah, 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 because they feel so guilty, because the church makes you feel like crap for doing that. I'm asking, are the priests that are telling you not to have kids, and that you do, you end up with 15 kids, are they the ones that are giving you money? Are they supporting your children? Are they giving you the food? Are they giving you shelter? Are they clothing them? Are they there when you need them when they're sick? Or are they just telling you, oh, you shouldn't do that, and they're going home and they're having a good night's sleep while your 15 kids are crying and hungry, and you're the one that's supposed to deal with those problems? I don't think so. The other thing is that I truly believe that you wanting every fetus to be born also means that you want more crime, more rape, more theft, more poverty, more drug abuse, more prostitution, more prisons, more prisoners, more suicides, more violence, more emotional and psychologically unstable people. All these things and more are greatly linked to births of unwanted children. Whenever you are saying no to something, in this case, your abortion, you're saying no, don't have abortions. You are also saying yes to something else. In this case, crime, violence, poverty, etc. If you are saying no to something, there's going to be a yes you're saying, something you're saying yes to. And you need to weigh those two things. You can't just say, oh no, you can't do this, and not expect that there's going to be a consequence to that. So to me, when I hear somebody saying, oh no, no abortions, I'm against abortions, blah, 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 I'm not just hearing the person saying I'm against abortion. I'm hearing a person saying I am for poverty, for prostitution, for theft, for crime. I am for all these things. And to me, that is not a person that cares about people and that is compassionate and kind and loving. The last thing that I'm going to touch upon is let's say if my mother was raped by a stranger or her own father, and she ended up pregnant, and I was the result of that, and if somehow somebody was able to ask me, hey, you know what, you are here because this, as a fetus, obviously I'm talking as a fetus, if I were a fetus and somehow I could know you're here because, and you exist because of this situation that happened, of this experience that happened to your mother, and you being born is going to cause your mother great suffering and turmoil and pain, and it is going to be a very heavy burden on her and her family and society, and it is your life is going to cause a lot of pain. Do you still want to be born? I would say, kill me now. Kill me now. No, I don't want to be the reason why somebody else is going to suffer. I don't want to be the reason why other people are going to be impoverished. I don't want to be the reason for other people to experience negative things because of my life. I am not that fucking selfish. Kill me now. That is what I would say. So I think that's it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.